I will do it from memory this time, though.
Okay.
Ready?
I don't know. I think I might have just used my good take. My name's Jeff.
It's okay. You got 6 more on you. Trust me.
Well, this is totally not Danzig, and you're listening to the Shred Shack.
I don't remember that's part of the intro.
It totally works,
I
though.
don't remember that beer bottle thing opening. Greetings, folks. I'm Dan Mack.
And this is Chris Mack.
You ruined it. It would have been funny and you ruined it.
So
Take 2. I'm Lindsay Mack. Dan forgot to press record.
During the original take, Lindsay was pretending to be Pete. It was funny.
It was.
It was, until Dan ruined it by not pressing record.
Welcome to 2018.
Welcoming you to episode 88 of the Shred Shack podcast, your premier source of news and uninformed yet heavily biased opinions pertaining to all things heavy metal, airing whenever we feel like it on iTunes, Mixcloud, and Google Play, as well on YouTube at youtube.com/theshredshack and youtube.com/adammanstemplum.
Woot.
Let's get started with some old business.
And we don't have the clips up right now, except for the ones I have on my phone. So old business is old business, and new business is new business.
All right. So like I was saying before, we haven't been on for a long time, it feels like. So some of this stuff might be very old news. And we're just going to try and accommodate as we go along while Icarus, the cat, shits on Dan's head.
I'm being climbed on by my cat right now. Like, this is why we don't do this in the God. All right, just keep going.
No, this is pure. This is why we need to live stream the podcast. Anyway, according to Dan's favorite website, TMZ, Chester Bennington's autopsy shows that he had alcohol in his system at the time of his death. The toxicology results also reveal that the Linkin Park singer's blood tested positive, presumptive positive for MDMA, otherwise known as ecstasy, and based on ELISA, an antibody-based test. All right. However, according to US Today, a mass spectrometer test, which is used to find specific drugs and quantify the exact amounts found, failed to detect the drug in the urine sample, where drugs remained for a longer period of time. Therefore, the ultimate conclusion was Chester was not under the influence of drugs when he died. Authorities found a prescription bottle of zolpidem, which is used to treat insomnia, on his dresser. There's also a pint glass of Corona, which was less than half full, and an empty bottle of Stella found at the scene. So apparently he was not on drugs when he passed away.
Not on drugs, but he was,
might have been.
had a random drink. So.
Yeah.
Still,
All right.
Still sad.
Continuing on with some old news, we talked about this a couple months ago, but Behemoth frontman Adam Nergal-Darski has been formally charged by Polish authorities for allegedly disrespecting one of the country's national symbols. The case referred to court by the district prosecutor's office in northern Poland involves the band's Republic of the Unfaithful tour artwork and merchandise, which is said to be, quote, insulting to the national coat of arms of Poland, a stylized white eagle with a golden beak and talons, and wearing a golden crown in a red shield. An expert on heraldry and iconography has determined that the tour's artwork featured, quote, a distorted image of Poland's national emblem, unquote, according to the prosecutor's office. The artwork included elements and symbols considered satanic, Satanist and anti-Christian, with the aim of conveying content far removed from the historical and state ideology, the prosecutor's office said. So,
Oh my.
yeah,
Where's the band from?
Poland.
The band is from there too.
Yeah.
Oh.
Apparently, the thing is, like, in Poland, he's like a celebrity. Like, when they did like the Polish version of like The Voice, he was one of the judges.
Oh.
And this is like a extreme metal band that he fronts, and he's like a pretty well known celebrity in Poland. So
Interesting.
this is probably a far bigger deal there than it would be here.
Yeah.
Seeing that we can wear our flag and stuff like that on our pants.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. According to Spokesman Review, Spokane County prosecutors have dropped all rape and kidnapping charges against the 4 members of the Polish death metal band Decapitated, citing the well-being of the alleged victim. Less than 2 weeks before the musicians were scheduled to go on trial for allegedly kidnapping and raping a woman on their tour bus 4 months ago, Spokane County prosecutor Kelly Fitzgerald filed a motion dismissing all rape and kidnapping charges. The motion cites, quote, the well-being of the victim, unquote, as a reason for dropping the charges without prejudice, meaning the 4 members of the decapitated could be prosecuted in the future. Defense attorneys questioned the credibility of the accuser, who in 2014 admitted to lying to police about injuries she sustained during an assault when her boyfriend was accused of stabbing 3 people. It was later determined that she was actually injured by her boyfriend during a previous argument.
So they're basically using like an old lie to
Yeah.
discredit a current.
And it goes on to explain that some of the bruises that were kind of looked like abrasions and stuff like that from being kidnapped and held against her will, she was in the mosh pit at the concert, and she was rubbing up against the big metal grate up front. She was seen being very physical with the members of the crowd and stuff like that. So, 2 and 2 together, they got off with no charges for the meantime. So again, they could be prosecuted in the future.
Okay.
Do they have a past?
No, they do not.
So we'll have to see how that one unfolds.
Yep.
I think that's it for old business.
That is it for old business today.
All right.
Poland's not doing too good.
What?
Poland's not, 2 of it was about Poland.
I was actually gonna make what I've been doing for the podcast script is that every time there's like more than one particular news item about one particular thing, I put like a new headline. I was going to say Poland in the news or something like that.
Yeah, I don't have a clip for Poland yet. You know what? I'll have to start reading the scripts early on so I can get a good clip ready for it.
That's an idea.
I have one for any time there's like criminal news, general criminal news. I have Carmen Sandiego's theme.
Yeah. Do you have anything for obituaries?
No, I
'Cause
don't.
that's a pretty heavy concept. This pretty heavy loaded one this week.
Yeah, so let's we'll get to that in a little bit, unfortunately, but let's talk about new business. And this is new business. We're in the next quarter, so on and so forth.
We are actually, which is nice.
Yes, Lindsay, there is the page flap that I constantly take out of the clips. What have we been? Okay, actually, have we listened to any new releases?
No,
Okay. When was the last time we did this?
a long time ago.
Because I may have listened to a new thing or two since then.
Well, if you want to consider new releases, for Christmas I asked Dan I gave Dan the Rolling Stones top 20 metal albums of the year, and I said pick whatever you want to give me from that. So those are all technically new releases from the year of 2017, and I've been listening to the Code Orange record, which was number 1 on Rolling Stone's list, the new Obituary record, and the new Electric Wizard record.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those are fantastic, especially the Electric Wizard.
Lindsay, have you listened to anything special in the last few weeks?
No.
Okay. Just the same songs over
Just
and
you
over.
talking, which is probably very
Yeah.
unfortunate.
What?
I'm listening to a podcast, but that's it. And it's
Yeah.
not exactly a new release.
Our podcast?
No.
Then
Well,
what
the
the
thing
fuck
is
are
we
you
haven't-
talking about?
Because we haven't had a new podcast in quite some time.
Gives her time to catch up, man.
I don't even listen to our podcast.
Yeah,
I
right.
could have. I was going to, but I've been listening to Renee Young's podcast. Regular Girls. It's fun.
Cool. I realize like every single time we say something on the podcast, like, oh, have we talked about that? Chances are we talked about it like 6 times.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, did we mention this? Yeah, we talked about it like a week ago.
Yeah.
So during the last, I think probably about 6 weeks.
It's been a while.
Yeah, I think.
No, I think we did one towards the, like after I came back from Thanksgiving break. We did one, which was probably the last one we did, because then Christmas.
Yeah. We definitely didn't do it in the area around Christmas, the week before, the week of, and after. So it's at least 4.
Yeah.
Maybe
we're
6.
looking like probably at like a month.
Yeah. So I'm not going to think back that far. I have been listening to a lot of the Rise From Your Grave album from our friends over in Pennsylvania, Tom and them. Listened to that a bunch of times. Been listening to The Beast in Black, which is a really good power metal band. Been listening to the new Galactic Cowboys finally, and oh man, yeah. I don't think I can't think of any other reunions that have happened in the last 3 years that I can get like that excited for. Cause
Faith No More.
Well, that's what I was saying. Like the last one was Faith No More, and this is kind of a similar vein. Like their return to form is literally a return to form. It's like they never left. It's fantastic.
Nice.
So I'm going to talk more about that in the near future. Hint, hint. But also, for you, I asked for Christmas from you the 3 albums from Jeff Tate's Operation Mindcrime.
Yeah, his trilogy of
And the
albums.
only one I listened to was the brand new one because it came out like a week before Christmas or 2 weeks before Christmas. And I actually really like it.
Really?
Well, it's one of those things where like I still haven't gotten as familiar as I could with mid-career Queensryche, because Latter Day is more recent, of course, and with new singer. I haven't gotten as familiar with like Here and the Now Frontier, with Q2K, with Tribe, and all that. I know the direction that they went in, but I haven't really found my way into really wholly appreciating it. But I know that this new album, I believe it's called A New Reality, is pretty much a reflection of what Jeff Tate was trying to achieve there. It's not metal. You know that. That's right off the bat. Don't expect metal. Go in there expecting a harder edged Peter Gabriel. That level of progressive, I don't want to say pop or anything like that, but progressive rock in a way. Not progressive in the sense of like Kansas or any of those guys with tons of keyboards and all that kind of stuff. It's more progressive in that it's variable. It varies a lot of different elements. It does get heavy at times. It gets softer at times. It does play a lot more with the atmospherics. There's a lot more. Just regardless of what we may say, Jeff Tate can actually play the saxophone. And
No shit, really?
Yeah, he actually plays the saxophone.
Oh.
Like he didn't just
Not
break.
live.
He didn't just break it out for the show and then have the tape play over it and that was it. No, he actually can play the saxophone, and it does work to great effect on the album. So it's definitely well worth a listen if you go into it knowing that it is not Queensryche, in their metal days or anything like that. It is an artist flexing their artistic muscle. That's
It's
what
dad
it is.
rock.
Not even that. It's a little bit too out there for it to be really dad rock, but definitely worth a listen. And again, I'll be getting more into that in the near future. Hint, hint. So,
Oh,
what?
did the new Arion count?
That was a while ago,
All
but
right,
I mean,
never mind.
like I've been listening to it a bunch too, so I
right.
love the album.
I listened to it for the first time in November when I was in New York, so I wasn't sure if that counted.
Well, you listened to it, so.
I did listen to it.
And it was fantastic, right?
It was great when I ignored the storyline and the non-continuity of the albums. Then I enjoyed it.
Is there anything in your news bit about the new Arion release?
No.
Okay, for those who haven't heard, in the recent.
Why don't we get to the recording news?
No, it's live stuff. Okay, let's go. Let's move on to obituaries.
All right. So
Since you're killing my flow here, let's
yeah,
go on to
ruining
obituaries.
the flow because we got things to do. All right. So obituaries, well within our range of missing things here for the podcast. Warrell Dane, who was the frontman for Sanctuary and of course Nevermore, passed away unexpectedly. I didn't find an article far enough back to actually like get the details of it, but I don't remember the circumstances of his passing.
Mm-hmm.
But he did pass away, which is unfortunate because he is one of the more underrated frontmen of heavy metal, and Nevermore, the band itself, is fucking phenomenal. So if you want to appreciate it, some really good shit, just go out and listen to Dead Heart in a Dead World and just enjoy.
Yeah. From what I understand, the man was able to have a 4-octave range.
Well, I guess
Four
I don't
to
know,
6.
but-
I heard something very, very impressive about his voice, and it's like you don't hear it as often.
Probably
especially,
4.
Okay, yeah, because he apparently was like I go back and listen to a lot of the older stuff, like for older Nevermore, and you can hear a little bit more of the higher side of things. Later on in his career, he kept it on the lower side, from what I could tell.
I believe Freddie Mercury had 4 octave, and that was really impressive.
Freddie Mercury was omnipotent. He was
is omnipotent.
Yes, that's true. He is, because he's still there. He's with us right now.
Honey, what are you doing?
That was the funny thing. Is like I saw someone on Facebook. They had those random questions of the day or something like that, and one of them was like, "If you could bring anyone back to life, who would it be?" And my friend replied, "Robin Williams." My first thought was like, "Freddie Mercury." Don't even think about it. Just Freddie Mercury.
How can you do that? He's not dead.
Freddie Mercury is like Obi-Wan Kenobi. You can strike him down and become more powerful than you can ever imagine.
Yeah, I usually picture him standing next to Yoda.
Definitely a Force ghost. Definitely. Moving on, former Motorhead and Fastway guitarist Fast Eddie Clark passed away yesterday, January 10th, after a battle with pneumonia. He was 67 years old. All right, Clark was a member of Motorhead from 1976 until 1982. He was 1/3 of the band's classic lineup, which also included drummer Filthy Animal Taylor, who died in November of 2015 of liver failure, and of course Lemmy Kilmister, who succumbed to cancer the following month. Clark, Taylor, and Lemmy appeared on 5 albums together: Motorhead's 1977 self-titled debut, 1979's Overkill and Bomber, 1980's Ace of Spades, and 1982's Iron Fist.
That's a lot of albums.
A lot of classic stuff right there.
Yeah. I need to start picking up some of those old Motorhead albums.
So it's interesting to note here that Mike Portnoy, of course, being, I Can Play That, and also the morning guy, he posted on his Twitter account that he believes that this is like the third band that he knows of where all the original members, like the entire band, has passed away. He mentioned the Ramones, Motorhead, and the Jimi Hendrix Experience.
Mm-hmm.
So all members have passed away. I'm going to butcher this name, but his name is Mikio Fujioka.
That sounds right.
It's very phonetic.
Yeah,
so.
I was going to say, you're surprisingly close for a change.
One of the guitarists in the Kami band, which serves as the backing group for the Japanese pop metal outfit Baby Metal, has died at the age of 36. His wife announced his untimely passing via his official Twitter account, claiming that he fell from a height on December 30th while at an observation deck and died on January 5th after his condition deteriorated.
I did not hear that one, but that sucks.
Wow.
Yeah, so that just, like, I said, January 5th, so that recently happened.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate, considering he was so young.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, legendary rock producer Chris
Sangradis.
Tansgrades?
Sansgrades. Chris Sansgrades.
Chris Tansgrades. He passed away early
Sangradis.
Sunday, January 7th.
Sangradis.
Huh?
I'm trying to. I've heard it pronounced by Bruce Dickinson. I think it's Sangarides.
Okay. After reportedly being taken ill at the start of the year, according to his daughter Anastasia, Chris was battling pneumonia and heart failure at the time of his death. He was 61 years old. The British Grammy-nominated record producer, sound engineer, and mixer is best known for his work with many heavy metal bands, including Judas Priest, Anvil, Gary Moore, Thin Lizzy, Helloween, Angra, Anthem, Yngwie Malmsteen, and Tigers of Pantang. He also worked with a number of pop and alternative artists, including Depeche Mode, Tom Jones, Concrete Blonde, and the Tragically Hip.
I know that the
Tragically.
You know what's really interesting about the Tragically Hip is that their frontman recently passed away too, like a few months ago. So
with Sangarides, I thought he was producing something like I really enjoyed recently. Like I heard that he was going to be the guy, and like this is kind of a bummer. But also he was going to produce the original version of Balls to Picasso by Bruce Dickinson, and they scrapped it for Roy Z. Always wondered what that would sound like.
all right, that's it for obituaries.
Well, thank God.
Yeah, really.
Because looking at it right now, Warrell Dane was before 2018 started. Right there, 3 in the first 11 days. Like, man, you're hitting that 2016 level of eating dicks here.
Yeah, because as a matter of fact, I believe today is the anniversary of David Bowie's death. Ready for some general news?
I hope so.
All right, well, Dream Theater has signed with Sony Music Worldwide through Sony's leading progressive music label imprint Inside Out Music for the release of the band's forthcoming 14th studio album.
I'm surprised it didn't happen sooner, honestly. Inside Out is like among 2 or 3 that are prog heaven, pretty much.
Yeah.
So, like, and it seems like the ones who, if you're not on there now, you're jumping ship over to, like, Mascot, like Ayreon did.
And on a side note for Dream Theater, on New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I believe, Mike Portnoy posted a very cool picture of him and John Petrucci hanging out again. So who knows what that has in store for either Dream Theater or Liquid Tension Experiment.
I was going to say, it's going to be a whole new band. Just shut up. You know it's going to be a whole new band.
All right, next up, Legend of the Seagull Men is a supergroup featuring Tool's Danny Carey on drums, Mastodon's Brent Hines on guitar, director Jimmy Hayward, who did Jonah Hex on guitar, David the Dr. Dreyer on vocals, Zappa Meets Zappa's Peter Griffin, yes, Peter Griffin on bass, and Chris Giovanni, okay, on synths, alongside the help of a few other guests. Joining forces to make cinematic psychedelic rock, the Siegelmen sing of shipwrecks and giant mutant squid, crafting conceptual rock and roll hymns of epic proportions. Copy and paste. They will release their self-titled debut album on February 9th, 2018 via Dine Alone Records.
I was gonna say, expect a lawsuit from Ailstorm.
So the way that it's written, for a second, I thought you were calling all the members tools.
Oh, no. Oh.
And I was
Featuring
like,
the fucking tools.
and I was like, whoa, what do we have against them guys? And then
Danny
it hit
Carey,
me.
he belongs to Tool. That's
Yes,
what the
I
comma
got
is.
it after.
That's what the apostrophe is. I
It
remember
took me
that.
a second.
Since we were talking about, guys who I can play that, all the members of Mastodon seem to be just showing up wherever they can at this point.
Especially Brent Hines, because I think this is like his fourth project within like 2016 through 18 right now.
just sitting there, like, looking at his phone, like, accepting calls, like, you want to do this? Sure, why not?
Hey, man, are you busy? No.
I need you to play a one-note solo for me. Okay.
Can I just put your name on my album? Sure, whatever.
Whatever.
All right, here's an interesting one. Alice Cooper has been cast as the flamboyant King Herod in NBC's staged rock concert of Jesus Christ Superstar Live, to be aired Easter Sunday, April 1st.
That just sounds awesome. And I think,
Did anyone just notice that Easter Sunday happens to be April Fool's Day?
oh,
Yes!
snap.
Oh, and what was it? Ash Wednesday or something is on Valentine's Day, and they were like, "It's a weird year for Christians."
So this year we can make a whole bunch of jokes about Jesus coming back, and they're like, "Oh, April Fool's."
Not really.
That's what I was thinking. It's like, the third day he rose, not dead. I got better.
Just pops out of this surprise, motherfucker.
Yeah, I would love just Sergeant Dokes to pop out of nowhere. In the robes and the hair. Surprise, motherfucker. All right. Bon Jovi beat out Moody Blues, Dire Straits, The Cars, and Judas Priest to win the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame fan vote. The band had 1,162,098 votes, followed by Moody Blues, then Dire Straits, The Cars, and Judas Priest. According to the Hall's rules, the top 5 vote getters in the fan vote are put on a single ballot, which counts no more than a ballot submitted by one of the Hall's 900 or so regular voters, consisting of artists, music historians, and music industry insiders. That was a long time ago, I believe. The list of inductees has been released since then.
And Judas Priest was not among them.
No, they were not. But I do believe that Bon Jovi finally got their due. I'm not sure who else did, so we had to follow up on that one.
Yeah.
All right. Disturbed bassist John Moyer has joined forces with Adrenaline Mob members Mike Orlando and Jordan Canada on drums, along with ex-rock and roll rockstar Supernova singer Lucas Rossi in a new band called Stereo Satellite.
Just Mike Portnoy calling up. Hey guys, need a drummer? No, we have one, Mike. Go away. You sure? I can play drums.
Excuse me. So here's one that's pretty interesting for independent labels here. The world's biggest independent heavy metal label, Nuclear Blast Records, and top independent distributor, ADA, which is owned by Warner Music Group, have announced a global partnership.
Oh shit.
ADA will provide worldwide physical and digital distribution, excluding certain territories in Central Europe, as well as offer additional services to support Nuclear Blast's incredible roster of iconic bands and newly developing artists. This deal builds on Nuclear Blast's existing relationship with Warner Music Central Europe under the leadership of Bernd Dopp, chairman and CEO of Warner Music Central Europe, who has provided the label with distribution services for more than 20 years.
So when I keep saying that Nuclear Blast is top tier stuff, they're even more like top tier at this point.
Yeah. They're the biggest independent record label, but they're like reaching like major label status, but still maintaining independence, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Kind of like Looney Tunes Records of Long Island.
Yeah.
All right, last but not least here, Queen is among the artists who will receive the Recording Academy's Lifetime Achievement Award in 2018. This year's honorees, a list which also includes drummer Hale Blaine, Neil Diamond, Emmylou Harris, The Meters, bandleader Louis Jordan, and Tina Turner, will be celebrated at a ceremony and concert set to take place this summer. Additional details will be announced in the coming weeks.
It was my birthright, you bitch.
I couldn't think of a more appropriate
Yeah, that
clip
was...
of that.
Damn.
It was their birthright, you bitches. It's Queen.
Again, omnipotent. Omnipotent.
Damn right. All right, so that's it for general news.
news.
Let's go on to some recording news.
So, Dan, why don't you just go into your...
I'll go into my news, which is
Yeah.
between live and recording. So those of you who are in the know for Arion stuff, they did, I think, at least two live shows in the Netherlands. It was kind of like how they did
Human Equation?
the Theater Equation
Yeah.
or Star One. But basically, they got like 10, 12, 13 singers together, and they played a set of Arion songs. And they filmed it. They filmed it far better than they did with Star One, which was like 3 cameras. They had 40 cameras.
Wow.
This was a big deal. They
Was
went all
Arian
in.
involved?
Yes, I'm fairly certain he was. This
Like,
was
performing?
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
But a lot of the names that you'd expect, a lot of the big recurring names. I think Russell Allen was there, Hansi Kirsch was there, Floor, Mike Mills, Damian Wilson.
Anarchy?
I think so. But a lot of the names that are synonymous with Arion at this point were there. They filmed it. They're releasing a double DVD, double CD, and vinyl. They're taking pre-orders at the end of January. I think it comes out in March.
Nice.
So I'm super stoked for that. As soon as it's available for pre-order, I will be ordering that shit because reasons.
Yeah, reasons, sure. Okay. Okay. Moving on with the rest of the recording news that's not Arion. Monster Magnet will release its 11th album, Mindfucker, on March 23rd, 2018 via Napalm.
Still a phenomenal album title.
Yep, always will be. But then I also like Motherfucker, because you gotta get that motherfucker on the phone.
Still a great song.
I love that song.
Yeah, it's so good.
All right, Fates Warning will play a string of dates in Europe and in the U.S./Mexico next month, meaning when I probably wrote this, it was December, so we're probably talking about this month, January, in support of their latest album, Theories of Flight. All of the upcoming European shows will be recorded for a live release to be mixed by Jens Bogren, who last worked with Fates Warning on the band's Theories of Flight studio album.
I don't know why they bother mentioning that. It's like he who also was at the helm for the album. I'd say he last worked with them a few months ago.
Yeah, on that one.
Yeah, that's great.
I don't think he's left the band yet, just like Bob Rock and Metallica. Anyway, Altitudes and Attitude, the project featuring Anthrax bassist Frank Bello and Megadeth bassist Dave Ellefson, will release its debut album next year. They spent time last year in California recording in the California studio recording material for the follow-up to his 2014 self-titled EP. Helming the sessions once again was producer Jay Rustin, who's worked with Anthrax, Steel Panther, and Storm Sour, with Jeff Friedel, who's worked with The Perfect Circle and Ashes Divide, returning behind the kit for them.
Was it really that long ago? I feel like we were talking about them on the podcast, but
We have talked about them on the podcast because they've done things together. Like the two guys have done bass clinics in like guitar centers and stuff like that.
gotcha. Okay.
All right, Ghost surprise released the digital edition of a live album called Ceremony and Devotion, just hours after posting a video teaser for the set online. It is available for streaming at all premium outlets and for purchase at Amazon and iTunes. Ceremony and Devotion was produced and mixed by Tom Dalgetty and features fan favorites spanning the band's entire catalog. The album will be available physically on double CD and double LP on January 19th, 2018.
Avenged Sevenfold, I need you to listen to me right now. That's kind of how you promote an album.
Release it digitally by surprise, and then release physically with a big announcement.
Yes, and then people who actually want to buy the physical one can go, yeah, sure. While guys like Pete are like, I need double vinyl right now.
And it's Ghost. So
I will fuck your shit up. Are you taking a selfie during the podcast?
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god. This is
it's blurry.
this is your attitude for this whole thing.
There we go.
Only here 'cause you promised bacon.
What'd you say?
I'm only here because you promised bacon.
Oh. I did not. We had meat.
There was meat and potatoes, so I mean,
Yes.
that works. And there was veggies involved as well,
There was.
and gravy.
No bacon, though.
We gotta work on the bacon situation in this house.
Nah. You just stick some in the mashed potatoes, I guess. That'd be weird.
No.
Are we really talking about this right now?
Probably be pretty good. You're the one who started with bacon.
Bangers and mash is just sausage and potatoes. Replace sausage with bacon, you're all set.
Oh.
Yeah, that was the
sound
fun
like a
part
bad
of having
idea.
that St. Patrick's Day party. It was literally just a whole lot of ham, sausage, and potatoes. I was like, okay, just do it in like 6 different ways.
All right, are we ready to move on?
Yes.
Napalm Death will release a special 2 CD, 2 LP, and digital download compilation titled Coded Smears and More Uncommon Slurs in March of 2018 via Century Media Records. This special collection will include a total of 31 songs with a playing time of over 90 minutes, compiling rarities and exclusive earworms spanning 2004 to 2016.
I didn't think that 31 songs would actually require 2 discs for them.
Yeah, right? I was thinking the same thing.
Yeah. Considering they have the shortest song known to man.
Yep.
Wait, who did?
Napalm Death.
Napalm Death.
Oh.
I have it on my tablet. I would know if I pulled up my clips.
On March 9th, Experience Hendrix and Legacy Recordings, the catalog division of Sony Music Entertainment, proudly release Both Sides of the Sky, a new Jimi Hendrix album featuring 13 studio recordings made between 1968 and 1970, 10 of which have never before been released.
How?
Just, they just keep on finding this shit. Jimi Hendrix farting on a snare drum. I mean, Jimi Hendrix flushing a toilet, opening a bag of Doritos, whatever. The album will be released on multiple formats, including CD, digital, and as a numbered 180-gram audiophile vinyl to double LP.
Just when are they gonna come out with the mashup between Hendrix and Tupac?
Holograms. That'd be the best. All right, next up, Avenged Sevenfold will release a special acoustic album. See, they're telling you about it this time. Live at the Grammy Museum on December 8th.
Wow.
Wow, they did that.
Was this like a previous announcement? Like a hey.
Yeah.
like the news on December 10th was saying.
If you're wondering how long it's been since we recorded a podcast, yeah.
But I'm saying, like, did you write this down December 10th? They were saying, oh, by the way, it's coming out 2 days ago.
The performance was recorded on October 19th at the Clive Davis Theater at LA Live in Los Angeles, California. A portion of the proceeds from this digital-only release will benefit the education initiatives of the Grammy Museum, which seek to inspire youth to the enduring qualities and cultural significance of music.
I'm totally cool with the cause, but
Hey, they're letting you know this time, though.
I would hope so, considering that it's more for a reason than just, hey, we're releasing new stuff.
All right, you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Frontiers Music will release the new album from Mike LePond's Silent Assassins, Pawn and Prophecy, on January 26th, 2018.
If you haven't heard the first Silent Assassins album, you should. It's fucking good.
Yes, it is. I remember did we do a review for that one?
No, we didn't. We were considering it. We had the Pat had the interview with them.
Right, that's right.
And we were gonna do more with it, but we ended up not. So.
Because I remember listening to that and really enjoying that one. All right, last but not least here for recording news, Heart singer Ann Wilson is working on a tribute album to, quote, artists who have departed in the last several years, including David Bowie, Tom Petty, and Chris Cornell. Wilson is collaborating with longtime Heart producer Mike Flicker on the LP, which has the working title of PDG, Project Dead Guys.
3 things. 1, like it says, departed in the last several years. Those 3 died in the last, year and a half.
Well, I mean, what is it? David Bowie's 2 years. Tom Petty and Chris Cornell the last 2017.
Okay, but if you're talking about those who have died in the last
Those
several
are just
years,
the 3 that she mentioned. There's a couple others.
I'm just gonna say, like, there's a lot more that died in the last few years. I hope you've got a lot of tape. I obviously know that we're not in the age of tape anymore, which is depressing the living shit out of me. And last thing was PDG, the Project Dead Guys thing. That's a little,
Right? That's a little cold.
yeah, that's a little rough. I think the Hollywood Vampires idea, like the thing, like Alice Cooper was talking about doing something like that for so long, and he was pretty much gonna call it like All My Drunk Dead Friends Are Dead or something like
Yeah.
that. It's like that's a little bit rough.
All right.
I have not written down any crowdfunding tracker information.
No, I haven't seen anything.
I mean, I haven't really looked, so I
Yeah.
gotta get back into that. So, if you have a crowdfunder up right now, good luck.
Next up, we got into some concert news. All right, we got festivals coming up because it's that time of year where we get a lot of announcements for all the amazing festivals that are not happening here in America, except for this one. Tool, Avenged Sevenfold, A Perfect Circle, and Alice in Chains lead the lineup for the 4th annual Northern Invasion, set to take place Saturday, May 12th and Sunday, May 13th at Somerset Amphitheater in Somerset, Wisconsin, just outside the Twin Cities.
Does he do that a lot?
What's that?
A Tool and a Perfect Circle?
It's more recent because they both have new albums coming out this year, allegedly.
So he's been working hard?
Kinda.
Yeah.
But the rest of the lineup includes Breaking Benjamin, Stone Temple Pilots, The Used, Black Veil Brides, Asking Alexandria, I Prevail, Parkway Drive, Blackstone Cherry, Red Sun Rising, Andrew WK, Atreyu, Anti-Flag, 10 Years, We Came as Romans, The Bronx, Dance Gavin Dance, Butcher Babies, Hawthorne Heights, The New Year's Day, Census Fail, Stick to Your Guns, Miss May I, Like a Storm, The Fever 333, I See Stars, Wilson, Mutoid Man, Cane Hill, Black Foxes, Counterfeit, The Blue Stones, Joyous Wolf, Spirit Animal, Stitched Up Heart, and Big Story.
Or get your degree.
Thank
the
you.
second half of that, I was just like, who are what? It was what?
But there's a couple I've heard, like Mutoid Man I've heard.
Yeah, Miss May I.
Stitched Up Heart, a couple of the other ones.
I'm wondering, have they announced who's singing for Stone Temple Pilots now?
They have. I think we mentioned that in our last podcast. That was one of the things that
this,
we...
This is what I was just talking about. We
Yeah.
talk about it and I completely forget about it because I never listened to the show.
Yeah. Because we talked about that they released a single when they announced the singer and we didn't get a chance to listen to it. Blah, blah, blah.
I didn't know some of them were still around.
Well, the rest of the band is still alive. And
No,
I
I
think she's
meant
talking about
some of
the
the
list.
bands.
Yeah,
Oh,
the band's
oh.
on the list here.
Andrew WK is always around.
Always
I meant like
partying hard.
The Used. And
The Used just came back together recently.
Yeah,
Oh.
they played here in San Antonio the same night I went to my concert that Dan got me tickets for my birthday.
Oh.
Yeah.
It was a pretty busy time on.
I was going to
East
say
Houston.
I would have gone to your show instead.
Oh well, my show was the shit. So
But yeah, the rest of them,
I haven't heard of a bunch of them.
yeah,
Meh.
I'm not crazy enough to go see a full on show like that. So
all right.
That's a lot of bands.
Well, we got a couple more here of like long lists like that. So check this one out. Festival producers Danny Wimmer presents. This is the company name. Danny Wimmer presents and AEG presents are bringing a diverse music lineup to the 8th annual Monster Energy Carolina Rebellion at Rock City Campgrounds at Charlotte Motor Speedway in Charlotte, North Carolina. That was a lot of words.
yeah,
On Friday, May 4th, Saturday, May 5th, and Sunday, May 6th. The daily band lineup for Monster Energy Carolina Rebellion 2018 is as follows. and
Breathe.
is subject to change.
breathe.
Friday, May 4th, Alice in Chains, Shinedown, Stone Sour,
Yeah.
Stone Temple Pilots,
Yeah.
Bullet for My Valentine, Under Oath, Parkway Drive, Pop Evil, Seven Dust, Andrew WK,
Of course.
Tremonte,
Woo.
Red Sun Rising,
Mhm.
Avatar,
Yeah.
Texas Hippie Coalition,
Something.
Power Trip,
Yep.
He's Legend,
Yeah.
Turnstile, Counterfeit, Stick to Your Guns, and The Wild.
Yeah. Once again, first half of that you got me, and then the second half I was like,
Texas Hippie Coalition.
Next up on Saturday, May 5th, we got Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, Breaking Benjamin, Hailstorm, In This Moment, The Used, Trivium, Black Veil Brides, Asking Alexandria, Hatebreed, Butcher Babies, New Year's Day, Shaman's Harvest, From Ashes to New, Immure, Tooth Grinder, Palisades, Bad Wolves, Palea Royale, Joyous Wolf, and Them Evils. Now this one seems to be a little bit more diverse. Because Sunday, May 6th, you got Muse,
Okay.
Queens of the Stone Age,
Okay.
Incubus, Billy Idol, The Struts, Clutch, Thrice, Baroness, Greta Van Fleet, Quicksand, The Sword, Red Fang, Code Orange, The Bronx, Mutoid Man, The Fever 333, The Blue Stones, Black Foxes, and Spirit Animal.
That third day is calling my name.
Right?
Yeah.
That's very, like, out there. I like it.
Like Muse, Queens of the Stone Age, Incubus. Like I've seen 2 of those 3, but I would love to see them again. You've seen Billy Idol. You told me it was amazing.
Yeah, he was absolutely phenomenal.
So-
And I would love to see Incubus now, because I saw them when they first blew up in 2000 at the my first Ozfest.
Mhm.
And from what I understand, they just become this huge thing.
Mhm.
You know, so they're like a show.
As
now.
far as like theatrically, you mean? Like how
Yeah,
how
like-
Muse probably is?
Yeah, pretty much. Like when I was working at the when I was doing my internship at the recording studio on Long Island, the guy who ran the studio knew a band who was opening for Incubus on a show, so he went and did their sound for them at this concert. Then he took pictures of Incubus's show, and it was a production, like laser light show, the whole thing. And they're just they're like that band now that just, like we've talked about, where they kind of fly under the radar, but they're always just huge.
But like, you think their shows are still like that now, some 15, 16 years later?
Possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still putting out new music. I don't know when the latest record came out, but I know
It was
it's
fairly recent.
fairly recent. So
Yeah, because I think they were on hiatus for a little while.
maybe.
So
All right. After a successful debut in 2017, which drew rock and metal fans from around the world with sellout crowds of 10,000 each day, Las Rages returns for his second year on Friday, April 20th. Wow, 420 is on a Friday this year. Nice. And Saturday, April 21st. The 2-day music festival created by Live Nation will take over 2 square blocks in the heart of iconic downtown Las Vegas at the Downtown Las Vegas Events Center. The lineup for the show is, on 420, you have A Perfect Circle, Ghost, Clutch, Under Oath, Beartooth, Pop Evil, Atreyu, Vices, and Dead. On Saturday, you have Five Finger Death Punch, Judas Priest, In This Moment, Saxon, Hollywood Undead, Black Star Riders, The Picture Books, Joyous Wolf, Adeletta's Way, and Bad Wolves.
man, just throwing some of the old dudes on that Saturday show.
Right?
Judas Priest, Saxon, and Black Star Riders on their own.
Right? I would just love to see Five Finger Death Punch perform, so they can bring out Rob Halford for that one song he does with them. It's like their best song.
I would want to see Five Finger Death Punch play that show, and then Ivan Moody leave after 3 songs, and then Rob Halford steps up and does the rest of the set.
That would probably be amazing, actually. like literally, that would be amazing.
Yeah. Like I still really need to hear the live shows that Rob Halford sang for Black Sabbath.
Right?
That would be awesome.
Yes.
Like that's like, and that's also in the age of Dehumanizer. So like hearing him sing some Dio
Some
stuff.
Dio stuff.
What?
All right. Ozzy Osbourne, Black Sabbath, Five Finger Death Punch, Stone Sour, Shinedown, and Breaking Benjamin lead a lineup for the 6th annual Monster Energy Fort Rock, Saturday, April 28th and Sunday, April 29th, 2018. Monster Energy Fort Rock moves to its new home at Markham Park in Sunrise, Florida, in Greater Fort Lauderdale, expanding its capacity and providing an enhanced festival experience.
Woot.
The daily band lineup for Monster Energy Fort Rock is as follows, and of course is subject to change. Saturday, April 28th is Godsmack, Five Finger Death Punch, Shinedown, Hailstorm, Bullet for My Valentine, Under Oath, Trivium, Hatebreed, Texas Hippie Coalition, Power Trip, 68, like the number 68, and Bad Wolves.
Mm-hmm.
Sunday, April 29th is Ozzy Osbourne, Breaking Benjamin, Stone Sour, Stone Temple Pilots, Killswitch Engage, Hollywood Undead, Seven Dust, Pop Evil, Red Star Rising,
Red Sun
Red Sun Rising, sorry, Avatar, Tyler Bryant, and The Shakedown, and Tooth Grinder.
It's just funny that every single year we get like a new like a new list of recurring artists that show up on all these things? Because like some of the names here we've seen so many times so far, but like last year, nothing.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think last year there was a lot of Korn did a lot of festivals. I think
I meant some more so like the smaller ones.
Oh,
These last few, like I'm seeing them on a lot. I'm just like, what? Obviously, there's got to be a lot of waves being made somewhere, so it's something I actually should probably pay attention to.
I was just very much enjoying the fact that all these are American festivals,
Yeah,
which is kind of cool.
yeah, just obviously not here.
Where are they?
We
Did
just
you
talked about
say? Did I miss it?
yeah, we just talked about one that's in Lauderdale, one's in Wisconsin,
North Carolina,
North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina.
Yeah, and then
Oh.
of course we got some of the other big ones that we haven't talked about yet, like Rocklahoma that happens every year. There's another one that's a big deal. I forget what it's called.
Well, at least it's close enough to the U.S., but Ozfest meets Knotfest.
Yeah.
It's Ozfest and Slipknot's festival,
I think
Oh.
and they do it in Mexico.
Oh.
they do too. I think there's one in California. There's also one in Mexico. So.
Yeah.
All right. Next up in touring news, Powerwolf have announced the first dates of their European Wolfsnacht tour 2018. Amaranth and Kissin' Dynamite will be joining in as special guests.
I don't have my Drop Dead Cynical clip. I'm so
No.
mad right now.
Well, yeah, fail. Fail, Gunner. All right, here we go. Hashtag no San Antonio dates.
Blah.
Ministry will embark on a 5-week North American tour in the spring. The trek, which kicks off on March 22nd in Anaheim, California, will feature support from Chelsea Wolfe. Hashtag no San Antonio date. Alice in Chains has announced a North American headline tour that kicks off April 28th, 2018 at the House of Blues in Boston.
I feel like they might announce the San Antonio date eventually because they were just here.
They
This
were
past year.
just here.
Yeah, so I feel like if they're doing another U.S. tour, they're probably gonna come back.
Hashtag no San Antonio date. Fozzy will continue to rock its fans across America for the Judas Rising Tour with newly added tour dates in 2018.
No.
Through Fire, Santa Cruz, and Dark Star Choir will round out the bill for the night of rock headlined by Fozzy.
And that's keeping Chris Jericho from Royal Rumble and WrestleMania and jerk.
Hashtag no San Antonio date.
Bleh.
Stone Temple Pilots will embark on their first tour with new singer Jeff Gutt in the spring.
There you
The
go.
trek will kick off on March 2nd in Santa Clarita, California, and conclude on March 17th in Billings, Montana. The band will also play at 3 festivals in America in April and May at Columbus, Ohio's Rock on the Range. That's the one I was thinking of. Jacksonville, Florida's Welcome to Rockville, and Fort Lauderdale's Fort Rock, which we just mentioned. Continuing on with our hashtag no San Antonio date.
You should have
here.
just named this segment hashtag no
We
San
probably
Antonio
should
date.
have. Next time I definitely will. Meshuggah have announced their 2018 North American tour with special guests Code Orange and Tooth Grinder. The trek will kick off at the Commodore Ballroom in Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada on January 23rd and make stops in Seattle, Portland, and San Francisco before concluding at the Wiltern in Los Angeles on January 29th. Following the 6-show trek, Meshuggah will perform at the 70,000 Tons of Metal cruise.
I want to go on that one day. I want to go on a metal cruise.
I want to go on Jericho's cruise.
Yeah, me too.
Okay, but metal cruise. There's a metal cruise?
Yeah.
There's actually a couple of them now.
Tell me about the metal cruises.
I believe that they're like 3 or 4 days, like where you're just on a cruise ship and there's concerts that go on throughout the whole trip. And
Oh.
different
So-
bands come and go and just hang out.
So
do they do all the other cruise stuff like food and stuff?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean it's like a regular cruise,
Oh, we should go on a cruise.
but it's like a heavy metal cruise. It's really.
That's cool. Why not?
I hear they're really like from the things I've read, they're like really fun. It's
Where
like,
do they leave from?
I don't know.
I don't know.
We'll have money eventually. One day.
Yeah, one day this will make us some money.
Let's just bucket list it.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. Following the unfortunate loss of one of metal's most revered vocalists, Warrell Dane, prior to Sanctuary's upcoming dates supporting Iced Earth across North America, the band has announced the tour will go forth as planned. The shows will act as a farewell tour in tribute to the life and memory of Dane, with guest vocals for Sanctuary to be performed by Joseph Michael, who has been in Witherfall.
So Sanctuary is still opening the show, but with a different singer.
Yes,
Gotcha.
and they are coming here to San Antonio at the Aztec.
Which
Was it the Aztec?
I think so.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because it's one of those things where I hear the venue and I'm like, do I want to go?
The thing is, the Aztec. Have you saw?
We saw Housecore Horror.
Yeah, but I saw Monomarth there,
Uh-huh.
and they were phenomenal. It sounded incredible. So they see Iced Earth in that kind of venue.
Yeah.
It would just be like seeing them when we saw them at Nokia Theater.
I would just want to sit down. Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
There's that too.
Last time we had some pretty shit spots until we got into the center of the venue.
Yeah.
So.
All right, last bit here. The hashtag No San Antonio date. Adult Swim is moshing its way around the country with an immersive, fan-centric 13-city metal thrash-tastic tour featuring bands Exodus and Municipal Waste in support of the new season of its animated series, Mr.
Okay.
Pickles. Apparently, Pat hates this show.
Yeah, I saw the post he did earlier
Yeah.
today. I don't know anything about this.
Yeah, neither do I. Along with enjoying the music, fans attending the Thrash-tacular metal tour can take photos in the Mr. Pickles Hellacious Doghouse, purchase exclusive Mr. Pickles merchandise, and receive free Adult Swim, quote,
Ew.
swag.
Wait, I have a clip for this. Hold on.
Swag.
Okay.
There you go.
The new music tour continues Adult Swim's commitment to bringing vibrant and impactful experiences directly to its fans and ignoring Metalocalypse for some ungodly fucking reason. The onslaught of sound begins Thursday, February 22nd in Seattle, Washington.
So basically, the bringing vibrant and impactful experiences directly to its fan is a way to compensate and say, I'm sorry for canceling Metalocalypse.
Which they had absolutely no fucking reason to.
The show is about an evil dog.
Okay.
That's what the show is about.
So is Cujo.
Mr.
And
Pickles likes to wander off to kill and mutilate. Why would I want to watch a show about an evil dog?
Pet Cemetery.
And I didn't see it. But it's a regular TV show. That's sad. I
It's
don't.
an Adult Swim TV show, which means it's going to be off the wall and
And-
weird, and try to recapture what it had 17 years ago.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
The Brack Show. Anyway, who's got the butt?
I really need to rewatch that entire show. I have it, so
So do I.
Yeah.
So do I. I think you got it for me, actually.
I'm sure I did. I'm sure I did.
All right, ready for some one-offs here?
Yes.
Body Count.
Body motherfucking count.
Will perform during the pre-telecast ceremony at the 60th Annual Grammy Awards, which will be held on Sunday, January 28th, 2018 at Madison Square Garden, New York City.
Let's just tell it like it is right here. They're doing the sound check.
Pretty much.
That's about it.
All right, next up, Phil Campbell has confirmed that there are plans for the surviving members of Motorhead to perform several concerts with as yet undisclosed special guests as a tribute to the band's late leader, Lemmy. He is quoted as saying, "It's on the cards, but it's just going to be a few select shows." He told the Rock Talk with Mitch LaFon. You can hear the audio below in the link. I copied this and pasted it. Anyway, we're not going to be touring with it. We're going to get these people involved, and we have to be mindful of their schedules as well. We'll just do some special shows worldwide, which will be good. A tribute to Lemmy and to the band, but it won't be an ongoing thing. Everyone's too busy. But we want to do something special. We're still trying to work on that right now.
You know that like at least one member of Metallica is going to show up for that.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll do that. And then, you know who did a really good cover of a Motorhead song? I forget which one it was, but it was Nurgle from Behemoth. He did a really good version of Lemmy's vocals on a Motorhead track. It was awesome. So
Get remember Metallica there, probably Doro Pesh in there. Ozzy will probably be there.
yeah, maybe some Rob Halford.
Yeah.
All right, so next up we're going to go into heavy metal in the charts.
Oh, are we?
Well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to skip over noteworthy points there because I haven't seen any recently.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to skip the top 200 because I scanned it real quick and it's dismal.
What's number one? You remember?
No, but
Don't-
The Greatest Showman.
The movie soundtrack?
Yeah, the movie soundtrack.
Oh, okay.
All right, so let's just go into the top 25 hard rock albums on Billboard top charts here.
From 25 to 1?
From 25 to 1. 25, Injustice for All.
No surprise.
24, Toxicity, System of a Down. 23, 1X by 3 Days Grace. 22, Aerosmith's Greatest Hits.
Okay.
21, Asking Alexandria, self-titled. Number 20, Ride the Lightning, Metallica.
Of course.
19, Unleashed by Skillet. Number 18, Experience Hendrix, The Best of Jimi Hendrix, by Jimi Hendrix.
Say Hendrix one more time.
The Room, produced, starring, and directed by Tommy Wiseau.
What? Oh, I thought you were saying that that's actually on the Rock Show. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? What is this bullshit you are throwing my way?
I just like the way your head turned like, what? Number 17 is Immortalized by Disturbed. Number 16 is One More Light Live by Linkin Park. Mm-hmm. Number 15, Slippery When Wet by Bon Jovi.
Get the fuck out of here.
Exactly.
I like the album, but get the fuck out of here.
Number 14 is Meteora by Linkin Park.
Okay.
Number 13, Led Zeppelin 4, Led Zeppelin. Number 12, All the Right Reasons, Nickelback.
What?
11, Concrete and Gold, Foo Fighters.
Yeah.
Number 10, Greatest Hits, Foo Fighters. Number 9, Master of Puppets, Metallica.
Of course.
Number 8, From the Fires, Greta Van Fleet. Number 7, Back in Black, AC/DC. Number 6 is Hybrid Theory by Linkin Park. Number 5, Mothership, Led Zeppelin. Number 4, Greatest Hits, Guns N' Roses. Number 3, Black Album, Metallica. Number 2, Greatest Hits, 1, 2, and 3, The Platinum Collection by Queen.
Damn.
Number 1, A Decade of Destruction, The Undertaker. Five Finger Death Punch.
Oh, Pete, where the fuck are you?
Does he like them?
He hates them.
Oh, okay.
That's why it's the longest running joke on this podcast.
Wait, hold on, I hear Pete right now. I think I hear him. Hang on.
Finally, a good reason to punch a teenager in the face.
Well, there you have it, folks. Another reason, and the only reason, to punch a teenager in the face.
Oh, Pete, did you not come today because of this? Did you know? How did you know?
Did you know?
Because he knows.
And they'd be like, I didn't know. And then, oh, you
I didn't know.
Oh, fucking hell.
All right.
I actually have no problem with that, honestly. But that means that if it wasn't out there, Queen would be number one. Ugh.
And it's just interesting to see that the top couple albums here are just basically Greatest Hits and the Black Album.
Hold on, I have something for that.
Actually, that's the top 5 albums. It's Mothership, which is the Greatest Hits by Led Zeppelin.
I still consider this a victory.
Okay, done deal.
There you
Because
go.
Decade of Destruction, that's a Five Finger Death Punch Greatest Hits records, for Christ's sake.
It's because of all the streaming bullshit, so.
All right, so we're up to commercial break.
Yeah, commercial break I don't have yet, so.
Okay.
Moving right along.
We have a discussion point. I have 2 options here for you.
Uh-oh.
All right, because right before I came here, I came across Metal Injection's 35 most anticipated albums of 2018, or what I suggested a little while ago was Heavy Metal New Year resolutions, what we hope to see in metal in 2018. We can do like a coinciding thing here.
I kind of feel like I feel like our resolutions would probably be on that list,
Yeah, so why don't we just go with Metal Injection's 35 most anticipated albums of the year?
and then we can interject with ideas.
Yes. So they broke it up into 3 categories here. All right, the first category called the big guns. This is your big name people. So the top of the list, most anticipated record of the year will be Ozzy Osbourne.
Wait, you can't start from the end of it, can you?
No, because it's not really in any number order. It's
that's
just like
Okay,
lists
because I was
them.
gonna say like.
But it's the first one that comes
Because
up.
I was gonna say that if you're doing like a list of 15 from 15 to 1, I think Ozzy would be pretty much up there. His last album was really good. It has been 8 years now since it came out, so you're wondering how it's gonna sound. At least the studio managed to fix up his voice a little bit, but like, I'm always eager to hear what Ozzy's gonna put out.
And the fact of the matter is that this might just be his very last record. And Zakk Wylde is back in the band.
Yes. So that's definitely
we have some potential for some, back in the day stuff, or even some latter day stuff with like Black Rain or Down to Earth vibes. So it could be very interesting.
So that's definitely, I'm definitely looking forward to that. You can shit on Ozzy all you want, but it's still exciting to see him do stuff.
All right. Speaking of potential for the very last album of a band's career, we're thinking Slayer.
Are they actually thinking about packing it in?
I think there's been mention by Kerry King that he has like one album left in him. He's actually, I think, said this.
I figured that like that Tom Araya would be the one to leave first. Honestly,
I would say so only because like his singing style has to take a toll on his voice.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And he's had health issues, especially I think he's had neck issues in the past and whatnot.
Yeah.
But the main thing here that they're thinking about that they're mentioning is what Gary Holt is going to do with the band now that he's officially a member of the band. On the last record, Repentless, it was assumed that Kerry King did most of the writing, but now it looks like they're going to get Gary Holt to do some writing. So the hope is that they bring he brings a little bit of a thrashier side from his Exodus experience, or do his best to do a good Jeff Hanneman impression. So,
I mean, if anything, you can turn Slayer into the Kiss of the thrash metal scene and just have guys come in and replace Kerry King.
Yeah.
And replace the members as they go along. Obviously, that's a far-fetched idea.
That's a very far-fetched idea because if we get into the business side of things, I'm sure Kerry King has a very large stake in what Slayer is and what they can do. He's probably the Gene Simmons of Slayer.
That's what I'm saying, though. Like, continue it on from behind the scenes.
All right, next up, of course, we've been talking about this one for a long time, and that is Tool.
Next.
Okay. Well, let's keep on going up here with Megadeth.
Lindsay's giving me a face right now.
Well, no, I know you have issues with Tool, but
Well, the thing is, Tool, it's been like 10 years since they released Lateralis, or even more than that.
No, there's 10,000 days after.
Oh,
that.
yeah, 10,000 days, I'm sorry. But even so, it's been a long time in between albums. This is only their 5th record. Like, they've been around for a long time, and this is only their 5th album.
And they've toured a bit, like I guess fairly consistently in that time.
I mean, I saw them just.
And then obviously we know the reasons
ago.
why they haven't been releasing stuff.
Yeah.
Well, the legal bullshit. But yeah, I don't get it. I don't get Tool.
And if there's any resolution that I have for music or metal as a whole, is that what I miss the most about albums that came out in like the 90s and the early 2000s is the expansiveness and the length of them. Especially because I went back and I listened to Anima recently, and I just love that album because of not just the songs themselves, but what happened in between the songs to kind of make it like a 70-minute experience, not just like 8 songs, 30 minutes, and then done.
Yeah.
I like long, epic experiences of music. So I would love it for anybody. Doesn't have to be Tool. Doesn't have to be even a progressive rock band. It could be anybody that does that sort of thing, where it's not just straightforward songs after song after song, but something in between that kind of changes it up a little. Like Mudvayne's LD50 is a perfect example of that. There's a lot of stuff in between the songs that kind of made the record flow.
I was gonna say like how Arion did the Theory of Everything. It's all one long connected bit. Like you have this parts that progress the story, and then there's extra tracks in between that are just instrumental that kind of create a more atmosphere.
Yeah. So something that's very similar to that. I'm missing that in music as a whole, not just metal, not just like progressive rock, but just as a whole. I'm missing that.
So you want a solid experience and not just like here's,
not just get bludgeoned in the face.
Here's 3.5 minutes. We're gonna fade out and then just kind of go into the next thing that may or may not be anything related to the previous track.
Yeah.
I can kind of get you on that, I guess.
All right, but the next one up that they're looking forward to is the 16th record by Megadeth.
Yeah.
So everyone's really interested in seeing how they follow up Dystopia.
Yeah. Concerning the fact that Dystopia was a step up from the previous, and they have been mostly doing well and keeping true to form. I would like to know how they're going to sound. I want to know. I know that with the last album, Dave had to change his voice up a little bit. I'm kind of interested in hearing how that's going to progress because, it's his more nasally side of his grit has gotten just generally grit, and then it's pretty cool.
I'm gonna say I think it's actually enhanced the sound of the band. To tell you the truth, I mean one of the things I would say is a detractor from Megadeth is the nasally voice in the early stuff.
I always thought that was great.
Yeah.
personally.
Well,
It added a level of uniqueness to their sound.
I would agree with
Yeah.
that 100%. But I like the more gritty and just kind of like grizzled old man sound he's got going on right now.
Yeah,
to tell you the truth.
because now his voice fits the character.
Yeah.
So
All right, next up on the most anticipated albums here is Rammstein. And who doesn't want another Rammstein record?
speaking of bands that kind of, at least in the U.S., fly under the radar but have such a massive following.
Well, they sold out Madison Square Garden twice, dude.
Massive following.
Yeah.
But they still, like, you don't really see them charting around here or anything like that.
True.
But when they come around, people will fight tooth and nail to get a ticket.
Well,
So-
the thing is, hold on a second. Oh, okay, no, forget it. All right, so we're just looking forward to another Rammstein record, and plus that would probably lead to some kind of touring afterwards.
Yeah.
So.
Man, like, if they go to the Garden, but, like, I wonder if they would ever come around here.
I can see them at the AT&T Center. That's like the Garden of San
Yeah.
Antonio.
I just don't know if they have enough of a following down here for that.
True.
Like the Garden is.
People are probably still living off the hype of Du Hast. So
Yeah.
next up, though, speaking of Gary Holt, we got Exodus on the list.
Oh yeah. Not gonna say one way or the other, but that is potentially an idea for an album review.
Sounds good to me because we've done Testament. No, they were in the top. They were in the top 3. Like a separate album review, right?
Well, we decided on the first joint review for Shred Shack stuff is going to be Orphan Land.
Awesome.
So
Great idea.
And we want to leave it up. We want to leave the next one up to audience thought, like we're gonna do for the 10 word reviews thing.
Yeah.
But it's like we really want to do the Exodus album. So,
All right. So what they're saying here is that with this being the second album with Zetro back in the band, that should feel a little bit more comfortable, and they might be willing to take a few more artistic leaps than its previous record, Blood In, Blood Out.
actually, I started to get myself caught up with Exodus because on one of their recent, Christmas sale thingies, I bought the last 4 records.
Oh, nice.
So,
cool.
so I've slowly got myself caught up with them, and they're fucking awesome. So,
Well, I just remember getting like when we saw them with King Diamond.
yeah,
And it was like, oh shit.
yeah, they destroyed. So, and I'm kind of envious because if Pat's going to that show, that show for Mr. Pickles, and gets to see Exodus headline, oh man, that's bad. Like I'm gonna have to like fly up there and punch him in the face, take his ticket.
All right. Then of course this is the first one that we actually have a title and a date for. Judas Priest Firepower coming out on March 9th.
I haven't listened to the track yet.
I haven't listened to the track yet, but the first word out of for the little blurb here they have for the album is that Judas Priest are unfuckwithable. They're
Yeah.
just unfuckwithable. No
Yeah.
one could touch this band's career and ultimate influence in every heavy metal band that came after them.
Yeah. Put
And
them
they continue to deliver.
put them on a list of things that you can't fuck with, like the Wu-Tang Clan.
Yeah. And remember, omnipotent queen.
Yes.
Omnipotent.
Huh. I'm getting tired.
We're getting
almost
there.
done. We're almost
Yeah.
done. Next up, of course, is the extreme metal guys from Poland, Behemoth, with whatever they come up with. Because I got into them with their second to last record, The Evangelion, which I have tattooed on my arm. And then, of course, the follow-up, The Satanist, was one of the best records I listened to in a long time. So I can only imagine that he's got something up his sleeve ready to kick some ass.
Now
So-
he's got his side project out of the way.
Yeah, well, that was actually pretty good, too.
Yeah.
So.
So he's probably gotten that. He's gotten a chance to scratch that itch and then go back to his normal stuff.
All right. Next up, here we got another one that has a title and a release date, and that is Black Label Society, Grimest Hits, and that has a January 19th release.
I thought that was just a best of.
No?
It's actually an album.
Yeah.
I have been completely ignoring it the whole time, thinking it was a best of.
Yeah, it says it's been 4 long years since we've gotten a proper Black Label Society LP, but Grimest Hits is here in all its bluesy grimeness.
Damn. Now I gotta go listen to it.
Oh, it's coming out on the 19th.
Yeah, shit. Yeah, because I like, even going through all the January stuff, like so I can whittle down the list. I completely disregarded it because I thought it was a best of.
All right. Apparently, they've been releasing tracks here and there, but what they've heard so far has been an excellent mix of straightforward rock, doom, quite a lot of electrified blues that you would hear on like Zakk Wylde's solo album, and of course, tons of ridiculous guitar playing. So what's not to love?
Yeah, I was gonna say. So it sounds like Black Label Society.
Yes, it's Black Label Society, and you know Zakk is sober now, so you can't say it's whiskey-soaked vocals, but it's okay. All right, next one up here is we got Maynard James Keenan on the list again with the new A Perfect Circle record that's supposed to be coming out.
Next.
No. Tell me more. Where's that?
This person is interested in this album for a multitude of reasons. The two prominent ones are that the 14-year gap between the band's last album and this one.
Okay, so I didn't make that up. I was like, I feel like I didn't know they were still doing that.
And of course, it's Maynard James Keenan. So
Now, when they say 14 years, is that from a motive or from? 13
no, it's
Step?
probably from their actual record.
13th Step.
So 13th Step,
Yeah.
which I listened to again recently, and that is that's just really good.
I really enjoy Perfect Circle.
So do I.
Yeah.
We've seen them live,
Yeah, we have.
and they are quite good.
And again, they're good. It's just,
Dan's got a problem with Maynard James Keenan fans.
yeah, I do. Fight me, bro.
No,
Fight
I
me.
totally agree with you.
I haven't actually run into many.
You know why?
Why?
Because they're intimidated by me.
Oh.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Wait, here comes Dan. Let's go.
You haven't seen the hipsters around, really? They're all in Austin, from what I understand. Anyway,
Yeah, we see
I guess
some-
I don't talk to them.
next
Not
up,
my
next
people.
up, something that has a title and a release date. We got Catharsis by Machine Head coming out on January 26th, and I will listen to anything Machine Head puts out since The Blackening. So
I'm not enough of a fan of theirs to really care about this one.
I think they've gotten more mature in their sound, or especially since The Blackening. Like that was such a ridiculous record.
Wait,
And
who are we talking about?
Machine Head?
Not who I think. Never
No,
mind.
it's definitely not who you think. You don't
It's
know.
not the Bush song.
No, that I know.
Next up, we got Alexi Lehu, who Pat just recently interviewed. Children of Bodom, they have a new record coming out apparently this year.
That's pretty good. Cause I last one was I Worship Chaos still, right?
I think so.
And I actually bought that album. Like I think it was the first Children of Bodom album I actually bought brand new, like near day one, and it was really good. I liked it. So
Yeah.
I haven't gotten much into their stuff yet, but I'm slowly piecing together the.
It's one of those. They're one of those bands where it's just like they sound very similar from record to record, but that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got Ministry. They have an album called Americant, KKK in there, March 9th. So
It's not for a bad thing. They are very much like.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's not a pro.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I got it after
Yeah.
I thought about it. I was
Yeah,
like, oh, wait a minute. I got you.
their album Rio Grande Blood, I'm pretty sure was the album cover was a George W. Bush crucified.
Oh, my.
Yeah, so they're very outspoken in their stuff.
Yeah, it says, judging from Al Jorgensen's views on the current political situation, I think it's safe to assume Uncle Al is pissed and has a lot to say, which always makes for the best Ministry albums.
Yeah, I was gonna
Yeah.
say I thought Ministry was packing it in, but I'm sure that if they had, they would have brought it right back out as
Yeah.
soon as the new president came to power.
Yeah. All right, so those are your big guns. All right. Our next category here for most anticipated albums of 2018 are heavy metal heavy hitters. So these are probably like your second tier bands. Not like your big mainstays, but the second tier. You know, like the second stage at your festivals. All right, first up, we got Corrosion of Conformity, who have No Cross, No Crown coming up tomorrow, January 12th.
Well, now
By the time this is released.
this week Monday we'll release
Yeah.
it. So
But anyway, their new album's coming out, and we've been talking about this one a lot, only because Corrosion Conformity has Pepper Keenan back in the band. It's his first record with them in a very long time.
now is the album coming out under the name Corrosion Conformity, or is it Corrosion Conformity featuring Pepper Keenan?
Corrosion Conformity,
Okay, good.
yeah. So it's not like one of those featuring type things. It's just Corrosion Conformity. So that should be a little bit of awesome. All right, next up here, Ghost. They have a new album coming out this year, allegedly. That they, well, I say they. It's more like the singer Tobias is working on it himself. But anyone who follows Ghost knows that they've definitely matured over the last several records. They've opened up for Iron Maiden, and their trajectory is just going straight up. So
Sexy magician.
yes, sexy magician. Although every album they bring out a new papa, so who knows what this one's going to be. All right, another one, At the Gates. I'm not very familiar with them, so
What I know of theirs I like, and since they're back together, I've heard great things about their
yeah, I
reunion
heard their
album.
comeback record was phenomenal. So
Yeah. Add them to the list of great comeback records, along with Faith No More and Galactic Cowboys.
yeah. All right, next up, Killswitch Engage. You know, if anything, that'll be a top 3 for me, regardless. You know, I always pick them.
We'll have to fight for it again.
We will see about that.
Well, you
But
guys will have to fight.
There's
for
also rumors that that Jesse and Adam D from Killswitch Engage are working on a new Times of Grace record. And anyone who's listened to the first Times of Grace record, that one was really good. So I wouldn't be surprised if that comes about too.
Annabelle, come on. Up. Good girl.
All right, next up we got Pig Destroyer.
What?
it. Pig Destroyer.
They're one of the world's most beloved grindcore bands. So that's what it says here.
Therefore, they're the least trustworthy of them all.
And it's been 6 years since they released the record, so that's a little bit of time there.
Oh wow! I feel like we were just talking about them recently, unless it was about the new album.
We've talked about them recently because they've been recording a new album, and some members of the band are in Scour with Phil and Somewhat.
Right.
All right, Between the Buried and Me is going to be recording a new album this year. So
Yeah.
they're going to, and then it's followed up with Whitechapel. I believe they had one that come out fairly recently that we all enjoyed or listened to. Here's one that I'm really looking forward to. Baroness is going to release their follow-up to the Purple album.
Yeah, it's funny because like I know that album came out in 2015, right?
At the very end of 2000, like December of 2015.
Or was it 16?
15.
15. Yeah, but it feels like it.
No, wait, was it?
See, I don't know.
I don't remember.
Yeah.
No, because I think it was 2015 because we saw them in 2016,
Yeah.
and that was well after the record was released.
Yeah, and I'm pretty sure it was like the number one on the Rolling Stone list for 2015. No, that was Pale Emperor.
Yeah, it was on the list for 2015.
Yeah.
I think it was like very high up there, top 5.
But
it
it
was in my
doesn't-
top 3.
It doesn't feel that long ago though.
Yeah. Especially considering how amazing that record is.
Yeah.
So any follow up that they do is going to be fantastic. So I can't wait for that. Misery Signals is going to be releasing a new album.
Okay.
Oh, here's one for me. The Ocean, or otherwise known as the Ocean Collective. I think I remember saying that they're going to be releasing 2 albums. There's also been discussion of a double album, one dropping in 2018 and one dropping in 2019, and of a non-concept album. So it's hard to say what we'll be getting until we get it. But their last record, I bought just because I listened to like one song on the internet, and it is one of my favorite records of all time. It's so fucking good. So I'm totally psyched for that. All right, that's last up for heavy metal heavy hitters, and now we have a category called up and comers, which is probably going to be a few bands that
We're not gonna know.
we're not going to know, or at least we've heard of but don't know much about.
Yeah.
Like Tribulation. They have a new album coming out. It's called Down Below. It's coming out on January 26th.
Like Trials?
Yeah, but just
Trials.
the Tribulation part.
Trials and Tribulation.
Yeah. I was making sure.
They will make their triumphant return with their last album being 2015. So that'll be interesting to see what they do and something to keep an eye out on. There's a band called the Black Queen. They're going to be releasing their debut album. Oh no! I'm sorry. Their debut album was released in 2016, so this is going to be their sophomore record. Okay. Gate Creeper is death metal as blistering as the desert from which they reign, because they come from Arizona, and they're working on new music for 2018. Their 2016 full-length Sonoran Deprivation showcased a style akin to death metal greats like Entombed, Bolt Thrower, and Grave.
Right on.
Oh, here's an editor's note. Gatecreeper has a split with Iron Reagan coming out on March 2nd, by the way.
Okay.
Anal Nathrek.
I don't know it, so.
I think we've mentioned this band before, but there's no official news about a 10th album from them. But the band is apparently heading into the studio next month.
Cool.
Chemis, Khemmis. Their album is due on January 22nd, but there's no album title.
That's a familiar one, because I think...
Yeah, because they're a doom quartet. They took heavy metal by storm in 2016 with their second studio album, Hunted. It consequently went home notable year-end honor. Oh, okay. It came home with notable year-end honors and a slot on Decibel Magazine's tour, as well as numerous inclusions in individual lists and our inaugural album of the year title from Metal Injection.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I think I had mentioned them as a new release when it came out.
I believe so too, if
Yeah.
I remember correctly. Sumac, American Dollar Bill, which is due on February 23rd, and a to be announced LP. We're getting a couple of helpings of Sumac in 2018, kicking things off with their Keiji Haino collab. This is an avant-garde act the avant-garde act has another full-length plan for some time this year, continuing the band's tradition in crafting mesmerizing tracks that are laced with all-out heaviness and atmosphere. So it sounds kind of like a Death Heaven type of thing, which I really liked. Abigail Williams is another one that's coming out. They had an album that came out in 2015. Again? I don't know. Oh, but they put out 2 EPs and an LP between 2009 and 2012 and underwent quite a few lineup changes. So they're probably looking to solidify themselves again. Disillusion, 14 years. It's been 14 years since Disillusion released Back to Times of Splendor, one of the greatest metal records ever recorded. So that's something to look into. Okay, The Armed, Mournful Congregation, Baptists, Nightmarer,
That's funny.
Panopticon.
Yeah, these names I'm going to have to remember and actually check out.
Yeah, and those are the up and comers. These are a lot of bands that we have to keep on our radar to just expand our repertoire of music.
Any
on the
lady
Shred Shack.
singers?
How's that?
Any lady singers?
Not that I've seen. No,
Alright.
that's unfortunate.
Have you seen speaking of lady singers, have you seen the lineup for Epica's 1000th show?
No.
It's Epica, Lacuna Coil, Oceans of Slumber, Miraker, and like 2 other bands.
Well, that's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is it
Especially
like,
Oceans of Slumber. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Huge,
that's like
like
that.
where is that show?
I think it was Oceans of Slumber. Yeah, I'm fairly certain. It's overseas.
Oh, good for them.
But yeah, I'm fairly certain Oceans of Slumber was one of the main 4 that I was like, what?
Good for them. Like it. And that's it for most anticipated records of 2018. So, interject into that, what are you looking forward to in music and heavy metal in general in 2018?
I don't know, honestly. That's the thing though. Like I'm not. I know that there are things being worked on right now, but like, I'm just gonna take the year as it comes. So.
Well, what I would like to see in heavy metal and just rock music in general is apparently this past year, 2017, was the very first year since they started keeping track on it with the Nielsen ratings that hard rock or rock in general was not the #1 music of the country. They were outplaced by, I think, hip hop or rap or something like that. So, just being more like in the know, I think would be nice for heavy metal and rock in general. So that's just me.
So wait, so rock and roll, everything rock and roll was not.
Yeah, I just said rock music in general.
Oh.
It's just not the #1 music of choice.
I felt like that was bound to happen eventually, but also it's a matter of what they consider to be rock.
It's also a matter of like how they keep track of these things, because if they're which we never talked about because the way they're adjusting things on Billboard, especially the streaming things. I mean, not all rock bands are on streaming services. So
I mean, I would have figured that rap or hip hop or R&B or something like that would have taken, or pop would have taken over a long time ago. It definitely is much more commercially sound than rock or heavy metal is, for sure. So actually knowing that as a fact is a surprise to me. So
here's a good list that we can talk about next time. 22 albums celebrating 10 years in 2018.
Oh, as in like they're 10 years old now.
Yeah,
Okay.
the 10-year anniversary in 2018. Just looking at the first couple, I was like, wow, these are 10 years old already.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, you don't you feel like shit.
Yep, getting old here.
Well, like I was saying before, just to wrap this up, 2018, like I don't know what's going to be coming necessarily, aside from what we just talked about and a couple of things, the big things. Because I'm not anticipating anything big from like Iron Maiden or anything like that. They already released a live album. They're probably not going to release another studio album for another couple of years, so nothing big like that's coming out. Ayreon's now into the live thing, so there's going to be no studio album from Ayreon. So it's going to be a lot of. It's going to be as the last few years have been. There's going to be a lot of good, little hard hits from particular bands. I think. Did you say that Anthrax is working on something soon?
They have not. They didn't mention that at all, actually.
Really? I thought
Well,
they
we
were.
got Frank Bello doing this thing with Dave Ellefson, so
I'm expecting. I'm always expecting good stuff.
yeah.
So I don't get. I can't possibly get disappointed by the metal scene at this point, because there's always, even if what is more available takes a certain turn, there's always bands to satisfy my taste in things. So I can never be wholly disappointed by anything that metal offers in a year.
Yeah.
So I just want more of it.
Yeah.
And I want to be able to keep up with it, and I want to be able to contribute more with our stuff.
I was going to say,
it.
what is the Shred Shack New Year resolution for
Keep
our
up-
content?
Keep up with releasing shit. We're supposed to have a top 3 video up tomorrow that I have not filmed or written.
No, well then.
So yeah, we're doing
But
great.
you have a new video.
That's gonna wait.
She's like, oh.
Mine is already filmed.
Well, I have to figure out how to add more sparkles. But also, big little fun announcement. We definitely have to do a podcast, or record a podcast the weekend of the 17th of February,
Yes.
because we will have an extra person with us.
Oh, yes.
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 So there's going to be a special episode in the future. We have a lot of plans going forward. Since might as well just kind of end the show with just talking about that. For those who haven't seen on our Facebook page, we now have merchandise on Zazzle.com, which is basically you pick one of the designs we put up there, and they will make the shirt for you, by request. It's not one of those. It's not where we had to make like 500 T-shirts and have to sell them to make back money because we're getting hit up with debts. So we have it up on Zazzle.com/ShredShack. Go buy our T-shirts. I spent a good amount of time making that wrestling poster. It's fucking badass. Thank you.
I love that one. That's my favorite one.
Yeah, I'm actually going to buy that as a poster soon, for sure. So we have that. We are planning to do quarterly joint reviews. So we're starting with Orphan Land, as we said. And we plan to have that ready to go and potentially written and recorded when Pat comes down.
Okay, cool.
Who knows if that's going to happen? I have the album, so if you want to be part of that.
Did it already come out?
No.
Oh.
I have the album, but you can hear it because I wasn't sure if you were going to have time to be a part of it. So.
Well, I mean, I'm going to do my best, obviously,
Yeah.
but
But we're making plans for that. Our top 3s are mostly caught up now, except for we're doing November and December, and we want to keep caught up and do them every second Friday of the month, which gives us time to evaluate the previous month, write and record everything we need to, and then go from there. We just started doing the 10-word review video, which I felt was good. It was a nice success. You unfortunately missed it with your favorite band.
I know, Yeah.
But we are actually going to be posting. Hopefully, before this comes out, I will have posted a poll asking people what they want as the next band that we were going to review. Lindsay's going to have her own show.
Lindsay explains everything.
Wow.
Which I have to edit, and that's going to be a bitch and a half. Hi, Annabelle, you're a bitch.
You're starting
And a
with
half.
wrestling things.
Yes. So there's that. I just started getting Recreational Warfare back up and started, which we filmed about 3 episodes of Lego Lord of the Rings for the first time in a long time. I'm doing my Mega Man stuff. I do the weekly live streams. So there's a lot of activity, and the goal for Shred Shack and pretty much anything involving these projects is to keep them going, keep them consistent, and to improve them, and ultimately to get our page to 1,000 likes. We've been talking about 1,000 likes since 2016.
Yeah, since we got, 500 likes?
Yeah, well, since we hit 500, we were like, yeah, 1,000, no big deal. Yeah, we haven't hit that yet. So we are definitely looking to do that. We're looking to expand where we post our stuff. We are actually, by the time this airs, we should have it up, but we actually have a commercial that we are going to be airing in some place.
Did the commercial play? At
No,
the
we
movie?
didn't do that in time, I think.
Oh.
And Pat's going to a show this weekend, so hopefully it'll air. By the time that this goes up, hopefully that show will
Okay.
have happened, and we'll have posted the commercial. If not, it's coming soon.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it at that because I tend to make a lot of promises and never follow through.
True.
That's pretty much been like
We do that.
that's been my 5 years of doing YouTube crap. But one thing we do have is new music, and we're going to end our show with actually the rest of our new music. Until next time, I'm Dan Mack,
And this is Chris Mack.
And I'm Lindsay Mack.
and you are not Pete,
I am not Pete.
but that's okay. And we still never came up with a quote for the end.
No,
So,
we still, it's 2018. We'll figure something out.
so just keep it heavy, folks.
Keep it heavy.
God,
Nice stuff.